All right, I know we're all so excited to get rocking on unit number 5 because there's 4 operations: adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Adding, we know how to do it with decimals, fractions, whole numbers. We know how to do it with everything. Subtracting, we know how to do it with everything. Multiplying, yeah, we know how to multiply fractions, decimals, and whole numbers, everything. And division, ooh, we have not really focused on division. We know how to divide fractions, and that's about it. So this is our final unit that now we will master everything. And for the people that have been putting in the work, you are going to seriously have so much confidence after this unit because you're going to say, I know how to multiply, add, subtract, and divide everything. So we're going to start it off slow. I'm not going into the book today. However, this book is outside of my door. So talk to your parents and tell them any day this week from 9 o'clock until 3 o'clock, they're allowed to come to the back parking lot and look for the blue wagon and grab your book for you. Okay. And right now it's outside of my door waiting for you. All right. So the first thing that you did already is you rocked out these challenge questions. We will go over these challenge questions at 10:30. Okay. It's once again, what we're doing now with the challenge questions is we're just making sure that we don't forget these wonderful things that we've learned, right? So this is multiplying, subtracting decimals, and then subtracting mixed numbers. And then we have the challenge question right after. And the challenge question is actually division, which we're learning how to do today. So let's talk a little bit about division. Well, there are 3 different ways to divide. And we've actually already learned 2 of the ways, right? 2 of the ways that we've learned how to divide are, number 1, we've learned the slice method, right? We learned the slice method. And the slice method works when you have less of something than people splitting it, right? This says we have 5 cookies, 6 people are splitting it. If the best method for this is just slice it. The answer is 5, 6, right? We learned about the slicing method. And then the other method that we learned is we called the kernel, remember? Old Colonel Sanders. It's if you have a fraction, like I have half of a cookie, and we're gonna have 5 people split that half, the way that you work with dividing fractions is you keep the first thing the same, you change the division to a multiplication, and then you flip the second number that you say, which is called the divisor. And the 5 flipped would be 1/5. And then you multiply across and you get 1/10, and you say, if 5 people were splitting a half a cookie, would it make sense that we each get 1/10? Sure, it would make sense. So that is Kentucky Chicken Fried. And then the last one that we have not really focused on yet is dividing in the house, as we call it. Okay, so dividing in the house, and that is what we're going to work on right now. So let's first go over the basic steps, okay? And I know we're all in different places with division, but I'm going to kind of just look at it like you guys are all being taught division, long division for the first time. That's the easiest way to do it. The people that already kind of get it, you're going to catch on very quickly. And the people that don't really get it, this is your chance right now, okay? This is your chance to get it. So, inside of a house, it does look different than your division problem. So when you have your division problem right here, let's just pretend it's 1,000 divided by 2. Because this one's an easy one, 1,000 divided by 2. So a lot of people, when you have 1,000 divided by 2, you want to put the first number that you say on the outside of the house. You do not do that, okay? The first number that you say in a division problem goes inside of the house. It's the number of things that you're going to turn into groups, okay? It's kind of what you start with, what you begin with. So in 1,000 divided by 2, you start with 1,000. So it would go inside of the group. It goes inside of the house, I'm sorry. And then this is how many are in a group is what I like to call it. This is called your divisor. This is the second number you say in division. So in 1,000 divided by 2, you put your 1,000 inside the house and you put your 2 on the outside of the house. And then this blue thing, this is your house. Okay, this, I don't know if that's the technical term, that's the term I call it. That is your house. Okay. Now, the steps are actually very simple. There's only 3 steps, and you just keep repeating these steps until you crank out an answer. Okay. So the first step when you divide, after you put, you put them in the house, the first number, the big number usually, and then the small number, you pull out groups. Okay, and I'm going to show you what that looks like here in a second. You pull out groups. And then the second thing you do after you pull out groups is you say, did it come out perfect or was there something left over? And then the third thing that you do is you bring down the next number and you continuously repeat these 3 steps until you get an answer. Now, it'd be much easier if I show you what I'm talking about. So right now, you still don't have to do anything. Just pay attention. 1,000 divided by 2. 1,000 divided by 2. Let's see what that looks like. You're going to take your 1,000 and you're going to put it inside of the house. And you're going to divide it by 2. Okay, so that's 1,000 divided by 2. Now, what you do is you're going to pull out groups. What are we making groups of? Whatever this outside number is, that's what you're making groups of. So this is how many groups of 2 are in 1,000. And yes, I know 3 of my students right now are saying 500. But that's not the point. I'm starting with an easy question so we can get this process down so we understand it. So we're going to take our 2 and we're going to go into the problem. The first thing you ask is, can I go into 1? Can I take groups of 2 from 1? No, I can't take groups of 2 from just 1. So then you're allowed to, for the very first one, you're allowed to reach over and grab the next digit. Can I take groups of 2 from 10? Can I take groups of 2 from 10? And that answer is yes, you can. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. How many groups of 2 come out of 10? 5. Now the next step is, was there anything left over? Did it come out perfect? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, it came out perfect. So somewhere you need to put that there's nothing left over. Nothing left over. And now we're done with 10 completely because we took 2 and we went into 10. Now what's left? Well, the next number is right here. So you bring it down, and after you bring down the next number, people get confused. Like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Well, now you take that 2 and you say, how many 2's can come out of 0? Well, nothing. You can't. If you put that down, now you say, what's left over? Well, you took nothing away from it, so there's nothing left over. You bring down the next number. How many 2's go into 0? 0. And you're all out of digits, and there's nothing left over, so that is your answer. Okay? I don't get it. I'm confused. Yes, you probably are confused because as easy as a question as that, because of all the zeros, it kind of makes it a little confusing. Let's do another one. I'll do another one and then I'll give you a practice and then I'll meet you at 10:30. Okay? Here's my other one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1,234 divided by 5. So 1,234 divided by 5. So the first question is, how many 5s are in 1? Not how many 1s are in 5. And a lot of the times, you're going to say, oh, I can't do that. I can't take 5 from 1. So then you're allowed to reach over and grab the next number. How many 5s are in 12? 5, 10, 15, 5, 10, 2. So I took out 2 groups of 5. Is there anything left over? Well, 5, 10. I only took out 10. So if I only took out 10, there's 2 left over. And what you're doing there is you're subtracting. Okay, 10 is what you took out. 5, 10. There's still 2 left over, right? Well, what's my next step? Well, I took out groups from 12, and then I said what's left over. Now you bring down the next digit. The next digit is 3. So now you take your 5 and you say, how many 5s are in 23? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 5, 10, 15, 20. There's 4 groups. And you always want to put it, whatever you're taking it out of, you want to put that number right on top of it. Okay, that's important because you're lining up your place values. So I took out 4. Now I want to say what's left over. 5, 10, 15, 20. What's left over? 3. There's 3 left over. So I need to put that note. Now I'm done with 1, 2, and 3. Now I got to bring down the next number. How many 5s are in 34? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. There's 6. There's 6. So that was 30, right? I took out 30. So that means there's 4 left over, and I'm all out of numbers. And this happens. In the last year, your teacher told you, put an R because there's 4 left over, so it's R4. And I say, don't do that. Don't do that because you guys really understand fractions now. What I say is put down, we got 246 groups, but there's 4 left over. So we have 4/5 of a group. Why 4/5? Because you need 5 to make a group. That's what a denominator is. And you had 4 left over. So it's 246 and 4/5 of a group. Okay? Remember, you will get closer and closer to indubitably. Don't get frustrated and don't give up. You will understand how to do this. All right, here's the one that I'm going to have you guys try on your own. 515 divided by 5. Okay, pause the video. Try to get this answer. Now unpause the video. And here's how you should have gotten the answer. First thing you do is you take your outside number. How many 5s are in 5? 1. 5. Is there any left over? No. When you get really good, you can just put a 0. You don't have to put -5. You know there's nothing left over. Now you bring down the next number. 1. Now you take your 5 and you go into that. How many 5s are in 1? Don't say 5. There aren't any 5s in 1. You can't make groups of 5 from 1. So you literally put nothing. You can't do it. Okay? And then you subtract what you took out. You didn't take out anything. So you didn't have to subtract there. You know that there's 1 left over. And then you bring down the next digit. Now you say, how many 5s are in 15? 5, 10, 15. 3. And there's nothing left over. So your answer is 103. Did you get that one right? If you didn't, that's okay. We're just learning this for the first time. I'll give you one more sneaky one. Okay, here we go. 813 divided by, let's just keep dividing by 5. We can all count by 5. Okay, pause the video, try to figure it out. Okay, unpause the video. Here's your answer. First thing you want to do is you're making groups of 5. How many 5s are in 8? 5, 1. There's 1 group of 5. Is there any left over? Sure there is. There's 3 left over. After you bring down 3, bring down the next digit, 1. How many 5s are in 1? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 6. Is there any left over? Yes. How many? 1. Now bring down the next digit. How many 5s are in 13? 5, 10, 15, 2. Is there any left over? Yeah. Well, what's left over? Well, if you took out 2, you only took away 10. So that means there's 3 left over. So now you're all done with numbers. Your remainder is 3. So it's 3/5 of another group. So how many groups can you make? How many groups of 5 can you make from 813? Well, you can make 162 and 3/5. All right, 10:30. We are going to meet live, and we're going to continue to rock these until you guys get it, get it, get it.